So good to see you. We have a very, I think it's a pressing situation about our signatures this week. We're gonna, how do we do it? Where do we do it? What materials do we do it in? And we've got shows going on here. I think Rose has got a big show coming up. And is your show in Trinidad? In Trinidad, fantastic.
Good for you. So good.
And Cheryl is in the midst of her show right now.
Cheryl's in the midst of her show, and Laura's always
Steph
working.
is getting ready for the out. You have a show you're getting ready for.
In June, but I have a show. I have a painting. Actually, I have 3 paintings two in a virtual gallery and one in an actual new gallery as part of their opening show here in Toronto. So pumped about that. Yeah.
So also signing a virtual piece, like,
yeah.
How do we do that?
Yeah.
And Laura, you've actually had beautiful training in Italy, the foundational place of our culture, essentially, especially our art culture. So what did you learn and what do you do now?
Well, what do I learn about what? What
about
is
signing or not signing, or where to sign?
Okay. About signing, to be honest, at school they let you do what you prefer to sign on the back. I prefer not to sign on the front of the painting because I think that this interrupt the balance of the painting. Before I was signing on the back, writing everything and signing on the back. Now I think for my next what I'm painting now, probably I will try because I have like a kind of logo to put it on the side, but I'm not sure.
Oh, like on the side of the canvas where it's wrapped around?
At the beginning, I've signed many years ago, like this little logo on the bottom, on the right bottom, and then for many years I didn't sign on the front, and now I'm thinking, but I'm not sure because it depends also on the canvas. So let's see when I will finish everything.
Like how fine the canvas is and how
yes,
how the paint
I'm
is
using different. I'm using like multiple canvas together, a panel more than canvas. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, that creates
I
a
will
whole
decide.
different situation for how to sign it. Which one then do you sign if it's a multi-panel thing?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So difficult. So maybe each one with the number, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So if you do, instead of 2 of them like a diptych or a triptych with 3.
No, it's nine panels.
Oh,
every painting.
Wow.
9 panels. So
that's called what, an altarpiece, I guess.
Sorry?
That's called an altarpiece. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
But kind of, right? Like that's a big deal. 9 pieces.
This is a big deal.
Every painting is 9 pieces, and I'm working on 18 paintings.
Holy crap!
Wow.
And okay, so where do you want to sign them, or do you want to sign them at all?
No, I want to sign it, but I'm not sure if I continue with how I'm doing. I've done previously, so sign only on the back. Probably it's the better choice because I can number the painting and put the sign in each painting. But I don't know.
What about you, Stephanie? What do you do?
I usually sign the bottom right or bottom left, depending on the painting, depending on like where the available space is, the negative space. Or I have signed on the side as well. It just kind of depends.
Yeah. But
normally bottom left or bottom right.
Were you influenced by anybody in doing that, or you just kind of did it?
No, I just kind of did it.
Yeah.
I just looked at what other artists did, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that too. Not very original, but yeah.
Yeah, myself I started off really as a photographer, printmaker, so I always kind of just tried to like very unobtrusive outside of the frame of the image sign, and then with my paintings, it kind of just I didn't want to interfere with the composition, like it just I don't know it just I guess because of my printmaking background, so I was when I was influenced in at Emily Carr University, like, oh, don't sign it on the front. Oh, God forbid. That was the attitude there. And I was like, okay, I can sign it on the back. Doesn't bother me. But now now that I'm doing textiles, I really don't know where to sign. Like, it's a little bit of a dilemma for me right now. I'm not sure if I should sew in a label and sign that, or
Hmm.
what I should do. So it is something to think about, because people who buy the piece really want to have that
Mm.
credibility
Mhm.
assigned to it in some way, more than just a certificate of authenticity, right?
Mhm.
Why
Mm.
have you thought about
Mm.
just embroidering onto the scarf?
I that is a consideration. Although even when I do my labels, I just usually do like a little graphic RLW, so it's not really a signature. But maybe I can do that. That's an idea that I haven't really explored too deeply. Because I almost feel like the signature is for the other person, the collector, more than me.
Say again.
I feel like the signature on the piece of art is more for the collector's benefit than for mine
Mm.
Hmm.
Hmm. I think
Yeah.
so too.
as the artist. I mean, my signature's all over it already. Like, no one else is going to be able to make a painting like that. But somebody just does want that sense of, like, I want to know who this is, or if I want to sell it, or pass it on. People need to know who created the art, right? And you don't necessarily keep a piece of paper with the artwork
Mm.
over the years.
Mm.
So
True.
yeah, there is that consideration.
Hmm. Oh, so also, what are we calling those? Certificates of authenticity and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Your documentation. How do you keep that with your painting? You make a pocket or something and put it in the back, or how do you do that? How are you doing that?
I
Um,
am.
how do you do it, Steph?
I have pre-printed certificates of authenticity that I keep in a folder in a little dresser that I have, or whatever, filing cabinet. And I take them out. I have different sizes, and I just fill them out. They're blank, like they have created by. It says certificate of authenticity, created by, date, materials used, etc. And then my own like painting signature is at the bottom right, and I sign it with my actual check signature, whatever you want to call
Right.
that.
Yeah. And
Oh,
then
wow.
do you put it in an envelope along with the
Oh no, I
painting?
glue it right to the back of the
Or
canvas
you
or the
glue it to the
board.
back of the can? Oh,
Yeah,
so
Oh,
then
with
it
what?
moves around as long as the glue is intact.
yeah.
How do you
Oh,
glue it? With what?
I actually use matte gel, like
Really?
just gel, the Liquitex. Yeah,
Oh, awesome.
it works.
Totally cool.
see, I never thought of doing that, but then I can't do that with a textile piece either.
You've got a
No,
different kind of situation there, Rose. Oh,
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because I yeah, I really like when I send them, I make a nice envelope, and then I also I include the certificate, but it's not attached in any way. So
right.
it is definitely something to think about. And Cheryl,
you need like a really big label. You need a really big label with enough
yeah,
space to have all of that.
but then that's going to aesthetically and
Yeah,
even structurally, like some of them are really very delicate, and it would pull
yeah,
them. So I
yeah.
really don't know what to do. But Cheryl is the what kind of person who includes it in her composition. So when did you
Yeah.
start doing that?
I don't know. Forever. I always seem to choose a color that sort of looks right and wherever it is. And if I'm doing something with water or water lilies or ponds and that, I always sort of have to do a piece of grass or a water lily because I don't want to put my signature in the water because for some
Ah,
strange reason I think it's going to sink. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
No.
Now, Cheryl, do you actually? So when you paint, when you sign it, you're not signing. Like you don't try to make it in the bottom right or bottom left. It could be in the middle of the painting, kind of thing, if that's where it is, or
it's probably either to the side, and it's usually more like an aesthetic, if that makes sense. So I try to
okay.
sort of
Yeah, no, I've seen your signature in your
aesthetic.
paintings. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yours
Yeah.
works almost the way that the Chinese calligraphers use their
mm,
red stamp.
Mm,
mm.
mm.
It has that kind of graphic integrity when you do yours.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've actually had it made. I've had one of them made into a stamp or a press, and so I've had a few printed. But what'll happen is when they print, if ever if ever someone wants to buy anything, they print some of my prints. They'll just run it over the press also, so it'll have my signature embedded. But I haven't really
Oh, it's
activated
embossed.
that. I have paid for that. Yeah, yes, that's kind of fun,
Oh,
isn't it? So I
oh,
actually
I
Yeah.
like
have
that.
an embosser for my
Ah,
signature of one of
I
my
wonder if I
Sweet.
could emboss in my fabric. Oh, that's an idea.
Actually,
I don't know if it,
yeah, I like that.
does fabric allow for embossing? It's not
You never know. You could use a fabric stiffener probably and do a
Yeah.
little emboss in the
interesting. That
inside
is
the fabric
interesting.
stiffener.
You gotta
Thanks.
go, Steph.
Bye.
Bye.
I do. Sorry.
Have fun.
Goodbye.
Back to the
Bye.
grindstone.
Speaking of back to the grindstone, where is Denise? She's on a
Yeah.
mission. What kind of mission is she? She's in New
She's
York?
on a professional development trip slash exposition, I believe.
Ooh, that sounds
She's doing
exciting.
she's doing a washi workshop, which of course extends her washi expertise
Oh
into
boy.
mastery, I think.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Oh, how exciting for her. I can't wait to see what comes next out of her. Her whole new line of work is range of work is so exciting.
Yeah, and she's really using texture in it, so the washi goes along so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting when we put ourselves on that edge where we're not sure what we're doing, but we're doing something new and different.
Isn't that our lives as artists? Isn't that everything? Every time you try and do that thing?
Yeah, yeah. Well, even with this signatures thing, all these years I thought it was like, not that big a deal. But now that I've done a new body of work
Mm,
that have different structural requirements,
mm.
it is really definitely something to think about.
So the pieces you'll be showing in your show in Trinidad upcoming, it's a completely new collection?
It's all textile work. Some of them have been painted into, but basically it's all monoprints. It's a textile printing exposition. Some of them are mixed media, but they've all started as botanical monoprints.
Oh,
Oh, how
oh,
lovely.
how exciting.
Yeah, so I'm
Oh,
kind of gone back to my roots as originally as a printmaker, because that's what I got my first diploma in, was printmaking, and I was trained by European masters, two European masters, Janina and Mirko Jacobo from Bulgaria and Poland originally. So I had that, like Lara, I had that European kind of like traditional training from these
mm,
two
mm.
master printmakers. We had like a aluminum lithography, everything we learned from the ground up. So botanical contact printing is nothing really exceptionally new for me, just
Mm.
something to explore more deeply.
How exciting. How exciting.
Yeah, we'll figure out how I sign them next time. You guys have to stay tuned.
Yep, yep, it's a whole new world. Sign those
What
pieces,
about
get them sold.
yeah? Is there any way that you can make like some sort of an ink from dye and sign it like a dye?
Maybe, but then I'd still have that problem where I don't really like to interfere with the composition. So
Mm.
it's because it's a print and it's a monoprint, so I have to go with what I get
Yeah.
when I pull the print, and I have to just kind of go from there. And many of them are completely unadulterated, so
Mm.
putting a
Yeah.
signature on, I'm not sure, right?
Oh,
It's gonna
Right.
it
maybe
just
you're
sort of
gonna have to
jumps out.
because
Figure it out. Maybe find a way to print it on.
yeah, yeah. See,
Well,
because
we'll talk. I'm gonna have.
I'd like to have it with with the signature on it. I would if I could.
Yeah,
I
I
would
think
too.
most people
Yeah.
want a signature on the artwork that they're collecting. I mean, I know that when it's been passed down in our family, for example, two generations on, and we don't know anything about the artist anymore
Right.
because it's two generations on, and we really do need to have something like we have a huge, beautiful, amazing Italian 1790s painting. We know it's from Italy because we know who gave it to our grandparents. We know he would collect, and we know we went to Italy, etc. But it's a fragment of a very large painting, which we found out when it was restored, and there's no signature on it.
Mm.
So the value is so like,
Yeah.
That's That's
it's just
fascinating.
a shame, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really care about the
No, but
financial
it's just
value,
but it's nice
but
to
when
still.
my son, when I pass and give it to my
Yeah.
son, it's going to be this big old painting that only has sentimental value, and he can't really recoup the investment over the years that we all did in moving the darn thing.
Hmm.
So there is, for collectors, there is a reason to be looking for where is that signature and who is it and what is it related to in terms of the provenance of the work, right?
Well, that reminds me, I haven't thought of this in, gosh, so long, decades. Um, uh, my parents were gifted with a print, uh, it was made in Persia. It was a pretty old impression, and it wasn't signed. And the guy who gave it to them said that there was some kind of a, not a law, but like a rule of thumb, that if certain things aren't signed, and after a certain amount of time, apparently, you could claim it as your own. And maybe that's, I don't know, I'd have to look at
Claim
that.
it as your own artwork that you created.
Well, that it's under your provenance. Then it's not that you created it so much, but it's like it's like establishing its ownership as yours
Yes.
in a
So,
different. So I don't know if it's that's true. I've never verified it.
but even if it's just a wives' tale, that's just one more reason for us as artists
Mm,
to take the responsibility to not have our collector have to deal with it.
mm,
Yep. Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's
right.
really like we really shouldn't dump that on the person who's gone to the trouble of buying the artwork in the first
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
I always have problems with the signature because I don't want to sign my work until it's done. But then I have problems. So if it's, of course, but you know what I do? But a lot of times, and then I'll look at my work and I'll go, oh my god, so it doesn't have a signature on it. Oh my god, oh where's my paint? And it's on
And
the
then
wall of
you
the
still can paint
exhibition.
on it, right?
Yeah. And so a lot of times I'll often kind of, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's done, but I haven't waited a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But I'll just sign it because that's a job done. I know. Because I
Well,
I
have
know.
Philip Guston would go around with a little pot of paint, and I mean, there's a video of him doing this too. He would do this all the time in the exhibition, or he had a giant retrospective. I don't know where it was, at the Met or someplace huge, and he touched up the pic. He didn't like this part.
And this signature was already on there.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind.
it's a different approach, right?
It's a huge subject, bigger than we really
Yeah.
anticipated, I think, when we
Yeah,
came
yeah.
up with it.
Yeah.
But it is definitely something every creative needs to consider, because even with ceramics, the
Mm.
value does increase if you have a signature on
Yes.
there at the bottom of that piece.
A hallmark, right?
A
That's the
hallmark, you have to
Yeah.
have something on there. Like, I have a friend who's done very well, who was in art school with me, and she's done amazingly well. She sells out before she even launches her new ceramics collection.
Oh.
wow.
Everything's hand thrown,
Yeah.
really beautiful, beautiful work. And you want to know that that's her work, because now people are trying to copy it, right?
Mm, right,
So you're looking for that hallmark. So
Mm.
right, right.
part of being a responsible artist and having integrity, I think, is providing the collector with that, peace of mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Shall we say goodbye and get on our? Shall we say
Merry
goodbye?
way.
See you guys next time when we hit another
Bye.
hot topic.
This was a lot of fun. Thanks so much.
Bye.
So just.
Bye bye.